such an important tool for people who are trying to make a difference in the world. But for many change makers, social media is also incredibly overwhelming, both logistically and emotionally. So, in this week's Thursday live stream, we're going to talk about how to approach social media in a way that feels good and productive to you. Okay. We're going to work on choosing the best social media platform for you. We're going to work on finding the right mix between your mission and your personal life, being a human. We're going to talk about how to handle trolls and generally shitty situations or confrontational situations. We are also going to cover how not to get paralyzed by comparing yourself on social media. I know it happens to all of us. And very importantly, we're going to talk about setting healthy boundaries, healthy tangible boundaries around social media so that you can truly have sanctuary and rejuvenate. And so when you go on social media, it's very deliberate and you are very effective. All right. So going to the comments to see where we're at here. Monica said she's at 7. Not bad, Monica. Okay. Beth, -3. It gets a little overwhelming for you, huh, sweetheart? Emily says 1, so she's down there too. Okay, I'm so glad you're here. You're in the right place. Whether again you're looking to be more effective as a change maker, or you are just somebody that is on social media and trying not to be completely consumed by it or be turned into a raging idiot. So this is a good place for all of you to be. The comments here, just so you know, there's a 30-second delay, so I don't see your comments for about 30 seconds. And also, if I'm addressing a comment that you don't see in your comments, it means I'm on the other platform. So I'm live streaming both to Facebook and YouTube today. And just for you folks that are watching the replay, also, please participate. I will respond to your comments. Maybe not exactly in real time, but I will be there and I will respond. If you have questions, if you have comments, I'm going to be part of the conversation after this as well. Okay, so if you're just joining us on today's Changemakers Weekly live stream, we are talking about making social media empowering for you. Okay, so I'm Kimberly Carroll, and I am a coach for change makers. In case you don't know who I am, I help folks who are trying to make a difference in the world with that sort of deep inner work, the high performance habits, and the strategies to make you unstoppable. So speaking of that, I just want to mention, I'll talk a little bit more about it at the end, but just in case, last week I got cut off for some reason. So just in case, you don't know, I have a free video course for you. It's free right now. I might be charging at some point, but right now I just want to give it out as a free resource, especially during these sort of unsettled times. And Power Tools for Change Makers is, I'm just going to plop it into, I'll put it up on the screen here. Oh, that is not it. Power Tools for Change Makers is a 5-part video series, and it covers just a really juicy range of things. Sorry, guys, I'm just having some trouble with my screen today. Okay, there we go. I got a new keyboard and it is not working for me. I have to bang stuff. That's how I ruined the last keyboard, was trying, I'm a very voracious typer. So Power Tools for Change Makers takes you through 5 different areas to give you some really tangible tools. One is overwhelm busting tools. The second video is about pain processing tools. I think I've got this in the wrong order. Productivity tools, again, how to produce, how to output, and in a way that is smarter and not making you work harder. And I have a video around bridge building tools. So how to be more persuasive and reach more people and keep your integrity in it. And I have a tool around how to fuel yourself. Okay, what are the practices you need to put into place to fuel yourself so you can be doing this work for a long time and as a joyful human being? Okay, so check that out. I'll show you a little bit more about that a little bit later. All right, so what else do I want to tell you before we get moving here? All right, I know Oh, I know what else. If you can like, love, thumbs up, whatever platform you're on, this video, it really helps to put it out into the algorithms of the Facebook and YouTube universe so that more people can come and benefit from this. Even more powerful is if you share it right now. Hit the share button, share it on your wall, or you can tag somebody in the comments if you think that they would really be able to benefit from this. So, all right, let's get on with how to be more empowered with social media. We're going to take you through some tips today to navigate this wild world of social media in a way, again, that feels healthy and feels good for you and isn't a great big old energy suck. So, social media can be a very effective tool for shifting hearts and minds. There is no doubt about it. And social media is really incredible. And I want you to really get this. Social media has democratized media. So someone doesn't have to own a newspaper to be able to reach out and influence people. And you don't even have to be an influencer with millions of followers to make a difference. You can have a pretty powerful effect even within your own little circles. Even if you just have 30 Facebook friends, or you have, a few people following you on Instagram, you can make a difference in the way that you approach things. But again, social media can be a big old pain in the butt. It can be hard to keep up with. There can be really just shitty situations to deal with and responses. There are those rabbit holes that just take you away from your important work. You can get lost in them for hours and not realize. Having to regularly sort of create content for social media can take you out of the moment. So, like you're in a great environment and you're like, oh, I got to take a picture of this for social media. And that's a part of it that I really, don't like myself. So I've had to balance that. I've had to be really careful and just go, okay, there's some events that I'm going to, share with social media and some are just for me. And also social media can leave you feeling pretty bad about yourself. All these happy, shiny images of the latest miraculous and glamorous moments in other people's lives. You know what I'm talking about. So let's address all of that today with some tips on how to navigate social media in a way that feels empowering. So number one here, it's an attitude adjustment, okay? I'm not going to leave you with that, but let's start with the attitude adjustment towards social media. I hear a lot of people say, I hate social media. I wish social media didn't exist. But why are you on it then, okay? First of all, if it doesn't help move your mission forward, or if it doesn't connect you to those you want to be connected with, or if it doesn't bring you some sort of joy or awareness or helpfulness, get off of it. Not yet. Wait till the end of my live stream, but get off of it. You are obviously on social media because it brings something to you. It holds gifts to you for you. But if you're only on it because people say you should be on it, then don't be on it. There are other ways to do your work. There are other ways to influence people. Social media doesn't have to be the be all end all. Okay. So I just want to get that straight, that can't be an obligation. This needs to be a choice. Okay, so, and then let's appreciate that. As I mentioned, it's revolutionized things that the little guy now can have their opinion be broadcast and sometimes go viral and sometimes be shared and, over with a lot of people. That's very empowering for sort of the regular person. Also, these are platforms to be able to share things that are meaningful to you. They're platforms that allow you to stay connected to people that otherwise you might not have been able to stay connected to. But those people in your life that maybe are across the world and might fall off, they mean a lot to you. And you're like, I would love to have their energy in my life. I'd like them to stay. And it's also a gift in that you can find alternative views, okay? You can find, information that really opens up your mind, but you can also find people and information that challenges your views and grows you. So again, the attitude adjustment is you don't have to do social media. You choose to be social media, do social media. And just this little sense of when you're getting frustrated with it, how lucky are we to have this platform? How lucky are we to be able to have the modern technology to be able to do this? I'm talking to you from my home out into all other parts of the world. Think about that for a second. It's amazing. Okay, so I just wanted to hit that home. So, while I'm, before we start talking about platforms, I would love to know what everyone's preferred social media platform is. Okay, so is it TikTok? Is it Instagram? Is it LinkedIn? Is it Twitter? What is it? Is it Twitch? I want to see in the comments. Everybody that's here on this live stream, I want to know what your platform is, just so I know who I'm dealing with and be able to shape things a little bit more. Okay, so speaking of platforms, stop trying to do all the social media platforms, okay? I'm seeing a lot of people that are just like, oh my God, I'm trying to show up everywhere. And I tried to do that for a little while, and it's disastrous because you never show up anywhere fully and well. So I really want you, if you haven't already, to decide what your most optimal social media platform is, so you can put your energy into that. Now, you can have a secondary one. So for me, Facebook is my first one, Instagram is my second one, and then I do just very minimal on LinkedIn and Twitter. No new content for that. And so some things to consider if you're trying to decide what platform should be your main platform. A, does it suit your personality? Okay. Where do you like hanging out? Where do you feel most natural? Where does it just sort of vibe with you? So for me, like the reason, I get the gifts of Instagram, but Facebook is still my favorite because I like how interactive it is. I like how much there is a sense of communities. It's almost like you can see the communities all mapped out. And I love how there's sort of long form conversations. You put out a post and then people start their own little side convos. It can be really cool. It can also be very unruly. But that's one of the big reasons for me. I'm a community person. That's why I love it. And I also love doing activism, and I do find Facebook, quite good for activism. But for you, what suits your personality? I mean, maybe if you really like fun, then TikTok's your place to be. If you really like to keep things professional and you're sort of by the book and you've got just very information driven, then maybe LinkedIn is where you want to be. Again, if you want more conversations and community, maybe it's Facebook. If you really like aesthetics, if you like things that are more pretty and you really like more personal sort of reflections of people, Instagram might be the place you want to be. Okay. The second thing to consider is, who are the folks that you most want to connect to in your mission? Who do you most want to collaborate with? Who do you most want to influence or talk to or interact with? Where are they? Okay, so really think about it. The people that you want to most connect with, collaborate, or reach, where are they? And then C, your pace and your style. What platform would really suit your pace and your style? So for example, if you're going to be on Twitter, you kind of have to be immediate. Okay. It's all about quick fire. Okay. And also, Twitter is just a little bit more like, it's a little harsher, a little bit more sarcastic. So, maybe that suits your style better. Instagram is far more visual and it's also phone oriented. So if you're not somebody who likes working on your phone, you might not like Instagram unless you get set up on your computer with Instagram like I do. If again, you want more thoughtful posts and interchanges, maybe Facebook is it for you. So I'm just going over to the comments to see what everybody's saying here. Hi, Robin. She says Facebook. Why aren't you over here on Facebook then, Robin? Why are you over on YouTube? Come join the party over on Facebook. That way you can see everybody else's comments. Leslie says Facebook. Emily says Instagram. Chrissy's Instagram. Yeah, Chrissy, you're very active on Instagram. Monica said it was Facebook, but Instagram is now winning. Huh? Never heard of Twitch. Yeah, I only know Twitch because of my younger cousins. I have a Twitch account just because I was taught whenever there's a new platform, get your name on there. Let me see here. Beth says Facebook and Judy says Facebook. Okay, great. So we've got kind of Instagram, Facebook happening here as our preferred mediums. So does that make sense, folks, about, choosing your platform and sort of focusing on that and really getting into the culture of that platform? That's what makes you more effective, is the more that you're in that culture, the more you are. Because again, I'm in the Facebook culture. I know how that works. Instagram, I'm not so much in the culture, but I'm trying to get more into it. And as I do, I'm going to get more effective. So, all right. The big mistake many of you make as far as social media goes and being a change maker is all issues all the time. So if you are passionate about something, your every post is about it, okay? And I understand that. Especially if you are on social media because you want to get a message across, or because you want to open people's minds up about something, or you want to influence them in a certain way, then that can be very tempting. But folks, people do not like to be preached and lectured at, okay? They'll tune out. It's okay to have some, but if you also don't show up as a person, as a flesh and blood person, they will tune out. Okay. So it doesn't matter how amazing your sort of breakdown of the environmental degradation is, or, this protest that you went to. It doesn't matter. They'll stop tuning out. People tend to listen to you if they like you and if they relate to you. Okay. So that person likes camping and they have a similar sense of humor. I kind of like them. I might want to know what they think about the upcoming elections, or this event that I'm thinking about going to. Okay, it's like, oh yeah, no, this person, I kind of know and trust them, and I get that they get me, and so I trust what they're saying here. I actually want to listen and I want to engage in what they're saying here. I know it seems very sort of self-gazing and and all that stuff, but that's us as humans. We feel comfortable with people that we can identify with in some way. Okay, so if you are loving this new Netflix series, share that. If you're hating this particular Monday, share it. If you're like totally missing the Raptors right now, share that in some way. If there's something that just made you like laugh, sort of water out through your nose, share it. Okay. Speaking of which, next week, our topic is using humor as a tool for change. I'm going to have an amazing friend, Denise McLeod, who is in an Indigenous comedy troupe that's going to come on, and we're going to talk about how to use humor more as a change maker. And so, yeah, sharing things that you truly find fascinating, not just stuff that you are using to manipulate people's opinions. Okay. So again, like the people that you want to hang out with, are they all the time saying, oh man, like what's happening in third world countries is just like such a bummer, and let me tell you all the reasons why? Hey, that should be part of the conversation. Part of it. Okay. But if there's not also time to laugh, if there's not also time to talk about your life, if there's not, room for that in a relationship, in a friendship, you're probably not going to stick around. Same with social media. So if you feel comfortable, again, social media is all about comfort. I never want you to extend too much further beyond your comfort zone. Share some pictures of your family or your animal companions. Or personal pictures of something that you're experiencing, or go live once in a while just to say hi, or just to show people where you are. Be human. Really, that's the short form of this point. Be human. Okay. And I would say, some people ask me, well, how much sort of mission issue stuff versus personal stuff should I have? And I would say either half and half, or one personal for every two sort of mission pieces. Okay. Whether, again, mission could be your mission driven business that you promote. It could be, again, an initiative that you're really excited about, or a wider range just informational piece that you're trying to get out to the world. Whatever it is, I'd say, like two of those for at least one of personal. Okay. I know I don't want to bring it down to a science, but really, you got to have at least that. Now, let's just talk quickly about getting too personal. Okay. I just want you to be careful. I want you to be careful. I want you to be human. I want you to share. But I want you to be careful about getting too vulnerable on social media. If it feels really comfortable for you, go for it. But just know that social media can be a hostile environment sometimes. And I don't want you exposing the most raw, precious parts of yourself out there unless you feel really secure and sure and grounded about it. Okay. Just so you don't have to pour out your heart. You don't have to reveal everything. Okay. You know me, I share quite a bit on social media. I share quite a bit in these live streams, but there's pieces of me that I'm never going to share, not only online, but publicly. Okay. There's just pieces of me that are too precious, and we've all got to keep those pieces to ourselves sometimes. Okay. So always check in and just go, yeah, like if somebody responded badly to this, or if nobody responded, would I be okay with that? And if so, then go for it. Okay, let's move on. I'm just going to check and see how everybody's doing. Oh, Nick says he's on Facebook. Beth says, hence your posts on beautiful flowers. Yes, Beth, I like to share pretty things. I like to share some of the things that bring me joy. Because as a change maker, one of my pillars is that we need to be well-rounded people who also have life for ourselves as well, that find some joy, find some peace in our lives, find love in our lives, so that we can always be fueled by that in the sometimes very hard, challenging work we do. So thank you for noticing. Okay, point number 4 here. Let's get at it. So here's a good one. What to do when you encounter shittiness on social media? Well, I think we all have some form of shittiness. So let's make some differentiations. First of all, first form of shittiness, trolls. Okay, good old trolls. Now, trolls are people who are, and maybe not even people, they might even just be bots for all we know, that are trying to get a rise out of people, or are deliberately trying to sabotage discussions or info. Okay. And there are actually, there are so many paid trolls out there. I have had many experiences in comment land where it's been very obvious that a paid contingent of trolls have been sicked on something I've put out there. And that is something to behold. And so you just get really clear. Is this somebody who is if it's not somebody you even know, they just come out of nowhere and they just put a bomb in there and don't regard anything you say and just troublemaking, ignore them. Even you might even want to delete them. It depends on your personal policy. I don't delete anybody's comments unless they're offensive to somebody, like if they are name calling or if they're or discriminatory. But otherwise, I let people's comments stay there just because in the interests of being real. But that doesn't need to be your policy. You can just press delete. And yeah, so again, you might keep it up just to give a reminder to people what you're up against. But again, if it's a plain old troll, do not spend any time engaging. Now, on the other hand, if it's somebody you know or know of who comes on with, it might be a hostile but questioning sort of comment, which is obviously a knee-jerk reaction probably. If you have the bandwidth to engage with them, you're going to need to do it in a certain way. So first of all, you're going to have to get curious about their fears and where they're coming from. Okay, if somebody kind of gets hostile, it's because they're scared. Okay, it's something is getting threatened for them. Okay, they feel like maybe they could be wrong. They feel like they could be in danger. That something they care for could be taken away or made to be bad. Okay, so just get curious, and also maybe just find a little bit of tenderness for the fact that any sort of hostility or shittiness is coming from a place of fear. Okay, and then from that place of understanding, from that place of going, okay, well, this person, they're acting out of this place that they're kind of stuck in, or they're working out of this place of consciousness that they're in right now. Okay. You can address them in just a really straightforward civil way. That doesn't mean not enforcing, not speaking your truth or not enforcing your boundaries, but doing it from an energy of building as opposed to warring. You know how when you get like a kind of snippy comment on and you're like, oh, let's go time. Boom, 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 boom. I never do that anymore. I always have a cool off period. Always. Okay. Always. It doesn't matter how strong that gut reaction is to fire something off. I let it sit. I let it sit. And when you let it sit, the energy of it sort of calms a little bit. And then you can sort of approach it from a clearer, more wide perspective, unlike what they just did. Okay. So trying not to get worked up, again, because it'll just escalate things. And the moment that you start to judge someone is the moment that you lose the ability to influence them. So I always like to think about it on social media with sort of opponents as everyone is a potential ally. Okay. No matter how stupid their comment was, or no matter how riled up they are, or how off base they are, everyone has the potential to be an ally. Okay. It may not be in this conversation, but you may just plant a seed, and 20 seeds later, that person will finally see it. You just might not be that time. You will, if you handle this interaction right, though, you could be one of the seeds. So, some of the ways that you can, again, respond, again, just keep it very factual. Don't get too emotional about it. Try and keep it civil, and also ask questions. Okay. Just try to see where they're coming from. Throw it back into their court. Okay. A lot of people just want to spout off stuff, but when they're sort of asked to look into it further and explain themselves, they have to face that, and they have to look at, well, what did I mean, and how was I misinterpreted, and everything. It brings things down into a much more civil and possibly bridge building conversation. And when they answer, really listen to them. Okay, really take in what they're saying. Again, everyone is their own unique being with their own universe of knowledge and background and fears and pain and delights. Okay. Don't forget that the person behind this comment is a universe. Okay. And that will help you to, again, not get just down in the mud and think that you're sort of playing a video game with somebody to try and destroy them. So I have seen personally hundreds of times how when someone with a differing opinion senses my intention of true connection in my communication, it can be like magic. Their walls just start to melt down, and their minds and their hearts start to open. In one thread, I've seen somebody just completely change their way of thinking. This is, where huge shifts happen. But even if they are far beyond reaching, remember, folks, that others are watching. Okay? Use it as a teaching moment. If those people that are watching respect how you conduct yourself, you can create new allies. Okay. And, a little rule of thumb that I use to help with this is sometimes when I'm in something heated, I think about my coachees. I think, what if my coachees were watching this right now? What if they were, if they were sort of engaged in this conversation? How would I conduct myself? Because for my coachees, I want to be the best person I can be. But for you, it might be, what if your niece was watching this exchange? What if your mom was watching this exchange? Like, who sort of do you hold up as that person that you want to be your best person for? And kind of imagine them looking over your shoulder. Okay. Even though this isn't face-to-face, folks, it's still so important that you maintain your integrity. Social media would be such a more beautiful, effective place if we treated each other like we would face-to-face. All right. I'm just going back to the comments. Monica said, brilliant guidelines on how to respond to criticism, hostile comments, keeping boundaries, getting curious, see their fear, listen. Wonderful. Oh my God, Monica, thank you for summing it up for me. I think I'm going to put Monica on here because she's much more succinct than I am. Thank you. I love when I know that people are listening. Okay, let's move on to point number 5. I've got 6 points, by the way. I should have prefaced it with that. And then I'm going to take you through a quick little quick little visualization to help you with, as a tool for social media. Okay, so comparititis. As I mentioned a little earlier, comparititis is my word for comparing yourself to others on social media. Oh, I'm not as cute as them, or I don't do as many interesting things, or I don't know as much stuff. What do I have to offer? Stop that. Just stop it. Social media, folks, are people's very heavily curated highlight reels. Okay? Even now, like I consider myself pretty real on social media, but I wasn't wearing makeup an hour ago. I got a nice little light behind this camera. And I'm still probably look all sweaty and, and everything. Nobody posts pictures of them vacuuming or waxing their legs or, dirty under an engine. Like nobody does that. I wish they did. In fact, I've kind of been tempted to have like a little social media series where I just like just the most mundane things taking pictures of. And so don't, try to understand that you too kind of put your highlights out there. You don't often put the crappy stuff. Once in a while you say something is really crap and I'm going to share it with you, but generally you're kind of bringing some of your good stuff to social media. So remember, everybody else is doing that too. So when you find yourself, getting down on yourself for not being as smart or resourceful, as courageous, as beautiful, as handsome, or whatever as someone else, I need you to stop and start being kinder to this being, okay? I need you to just stop for a second, put your hand on your heart, take a deep breath in, and just remind yourself that you're unique, okay? No one has the perspective, the background, and the voice that you do. You, unbelievably, in this 7 billion people world, are the only one of you until cloning comes into it. And so even if you're an introvert and super shy, you might be able to reach someone in a way that like a big energy like me is not going to be able to reach. Okay? Something about you can find and express things in a way that nobody else can. Okay? So I need you to remember that. I constantly am tempted to look at some of my mentors and go, oh my God, they got it so much more together and they're so much more productive and all that stuff. And then I just go, oh, honey, you bring your own thing to the world, and it's very unique. And all you need to do is keep working at that, keep building that, keep carving that out. Okay? Because as wonderful as so-and-so is, they're not Kimberly Carroll, or, and as wonderful as so-and-so is, they're not Beth Crystal, or they're not Leslie Fox. It doesn't matter. Whoever it is, just make sure that that you have something that no one else has. There's room for all of us in the mix. Okay, the last important, very important piece about social media and being empowered: setting healthy, effective boundaries around social media. Okay, so we use social media as a crutch, folks. We use it as a way to just sort of keep this stimulated environment that is this modern life going, okay? I think we're all on a bit of an adrenaline high because there's so much stimulus all the time, and social media is just like hit after hit after hit after hit. And so it can't be that for us, okay? It can't be a drug. It can't be an addiction. It can't be healthy if it's an addiction. So I need you to think about how you can be very deliberate when you go onto social media. So first of all, no mindless surfing. Be clear about your reason to be online, okay? That will help you to avoid going down rabbit holes and just like, again, losing an hour out of your life that you'll never get back. That said, it's okay to go down rabbit holes if you've decided that's what you want to do. So you could always appoint a couple of hours a week where you say, I'm just going to go on my platform, and I'm just going to look and see what's happening. And I'm just going to like go wherever it takes me. Just like set a timer and just go for it. Okay. There's nothing wrong with that as long as you choose that. What the problem is we're like, okay, I'm going to go on and I'm going to share this post, or I'm, going to go see what so-and-so is doing so we can stay connected. And then again, 4 hours later, like, what happened to my life? What happened to my day? Okay. And also, when you're on there and just sort of surfing around and following the puck without any deliberateness, there's always this low grade feeling of guilt, a little bit of anxiety, because you're not going in the direction that you meant to go in. Okay. And that's no fun. So be very careful. Like, I'm going to talk about appointed time off of social media, but I'd also get really clear before you go on social media, what am I going on here to do? Okay. And you might even have a little list. These are the things that I want to do when I'm on social media. Why are you here? Why are you showing up? And it could be just to respond to stuff, see what the close people that you care about are doing. It could be like, no, I need to get some important information out there, or I need to respond to comments or whatever. Be clear. Now, here's another piece that you have to be very deliberate about, and that is disturbing content on social media. Now, as an animal rights activist, I have a lot of animal activist friends. I mean, I'm an activist in a lot of different arenas, but I'll talk about this part particularly because this is a tough thing for animal activists, and it's a tough thing in a lot of issues. But for example, there are just a lot of images and stories of incredible animal suffering, and they can just like bop you in the face out of nowhere, and completely shatter you. Okay, if you're going online and cruising, these sort of things without being prepared. And so the same thing can come as far as an issue around, poverty or social justice, or, children, children with cancer. It can, whatever your area is, I'm sure there is content that is very, very hard and very heavy and very disturbing, or maybe even shocking. And so I'm going to invite you to figure out specifically appointed times when you allow yourself to go and witness this stuff. Okay. So maybe if it pops up and out of nowhere, you might just save the link and say, I will go back. Maybe you'll have a little list on your computer of the links that you're going to go back to. I know on Facebook you can save posts. And so what I would suggest is at a very specifically appointed time when you're feeling grounded, where you have some space and you're feeling strong, that's when you go and take in that content. I think it is important to see, this tough stuff. I absolutely do. I think we're citizens in this world. I think it's really important that we know what's going on. You shouldn't have to have it coming in 24/7 though. Your system cannot handle it. It is not good for you. It's not good for your mission. It will wear you down. It will make you a big puddle on the floor. It is not effective. Okay. So, choose your appointed times and say, okay, I've got my little cat here. I've got some space. It's okay if I cry and ruin my makeup. I'm going to look at this now. Okay. I've got the space to do this. I feel safe. Now is the time. All right. Let me see here. Okay. Last piece of this sixth part about effective boundaries. Get off of social media. I know in a workshop about social media, that sounds like an odd thing to say, but we all regularly need the sanctuary of here and now. Okay. We regularly need to have times offline, off of social media, where we feel safe, where we have a sense of sanctuary, where we know that our limbic systems aren't going to be hijacked by some online force. Okay. You need that safety zone because, again, as wonderful as social media can be in some ways, it can also feel like a very unsafe place because you don't have a lot of control over what comes up or who responds or how they respond. So it's just important. We all need that. We all need that sort of safety. of our own space where outside forces can't get at us. That's why we have our beds, and that's why we have our homes that we can close the door on. And so you need to have that with social media, because a lot of you, I bet, are going to bed and you're pulling out social media, or first thing in the morning, you're, in your sort of safe, comfy place, and then you get completely derailed and feel like you're in intense danger by something that comes up on social media. So these are a few ideas for really getting specific and tangible about your limits. So one would be I do the first hour of my morning, I do not go online. Okay, first hour of my morning. Sometimes I'll go on if there's an appointment that I'm wondering is going to be canceled. But other than that, I don't engage on anything, and I do not go on social media. So that's just my email. But for 1 hour, the first hour of the day, I do not go on social media. Going on social media, okay, so I can't remember what the stat is, but an incredibly high stat, like 60% of people reach for their phone within the first 5 minutes of being awake. And that is the equivalent. Going on social media when you first wake up is like the equivalent of staggering onto the street naked as soon as you wake up, all dazed, with cars speeding by and people yelling at you, and it's just not smart. Okay, you're at your most vulnerable, you're at your most open when you wake up. Do not put yourself out there. The other thing that I recommend is getting off social media at least an hour before you go to bed. And they say you should not have any screens for at least an hour, maybe even 2 hours before you go to bed, because it allows those centers in the brain to calm down before you try to sleep. But yeah, get off social media. Do something here and now. Do something sweet for yourself. Just read a quiet book, or meditate, or just lie there if you have a dog, petting your dog, or just light some candles and have a bath. Do something else. There's so many other things you could be doing. You don't need to be doing that for the last hour of your day and letting it disrupt your sleep. Okay, and then if any of you work with me, I love my sacred Sundays. Now, my sacred Sundays are days where I try not to do anything out of obligation, but my sacred Sundays also involve staying off of social media mostly. So if you see me posting on Sundays, it's usually because I've scheduled it, but I really try to stay off social media altogether on Sundays. And that doesn't have to be on Sundays for you. It could be any day, but I think having a social media break for a day is an important thing, okay? To not have that leash, to not be sort of beholden by this other world. So you can totally be here and now. So yeah, if a whole day is too much, maybe just try a half day to start off with, okay? So I'm curious, is anybody going to enact a media limit, a social media limit? And which one? Which one are you going to choose? Which one sort of feels like the next step for you? So share in the comments. I would love to know. And while you're doing that, I'm going to get you prepared for one last little piece today. I want to take you through my face tool. My little experiential tool to use as something for social media. So if you've done FACE with me, FACE, you'll know that it is a tool that I pull out for any time you're feeling pain or discomfort. You've just got some sort of emotion that you don't know what to do with. So that often happens on social media. Sometimes it's overwhelm. Again, sometimes it's hurt because, nobody's responded to something that meant a lot to you. Sometimes it is rage. Sometimes it is, just feeling really scared, unsafe. So I want you to get yourself in a nice, quiet place. And before we do that, I just want to check in. Yeah, Nick said he's going to do the Sunday thing. I love that, Nick. Join me on my sacred Sundays. Woohoo! Monica said, must not be on social media in the 2 hours before bed. Yeah, your sleep is so affected by screen time. Perfect. I love that. Emily said, I set up a 15-minute timer on Facebook and IG. This way it keeps me on my toes. Great. That's excellent. So there are so many apps out there, folks, that help you regulate social media, help you figure out how much time you're spending, and actually shut down your screens at a point so that you can't get on. So if social media is a real addiction for you, you might want to look into some of those apps. Chrissy said, limit my time spent and not check first thing in the morning. She said, bad, Chrissy. Yeah. So let's start with, the first hour of the day. Can you do first hour of the day, Chrissy? And then if you're going to limit your time, maybe again, just, you don't even need to have a fancy app. You could just put your timer on and say, I'm out of here in 30 minutes. Okay. I love it. Thanks, guys. Thanks for letting me know where you're at. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. Okay. So this will be nice and quick, but FACE is a tool I use. Feeling, ask, compassion, and evolve. And I'm going to take you through this. So going into this little meditation, I want you to think about a recent or a current thing around social media that came up for you or comes up for you. So again, it could just be the overwhelm of not knowing what to post. It could be something like a slight that happened to you, just this week. It could be something that really disturbed you. Like it could be an image that you saw that just really, like, you haven't been able to shake, whatever it is. Or it could be that sense of feeling like inferior because you're comparing too much. Okay, so choose one thing. Be really specific. Okay, choose one thing. And if you have to go back a little further, like to a interchange you had that was really uncomfortable, choose that. Okay. And now I want you to close your eyes. And let's take in a nice, big cleansing breath. And let's just do some shoulder rolls backwards. Nice and big shoulder rolls. Big, slow shoulder rolls. Just to have you drop out of your head. I've been talking a lot and getting your brain center working, but let's start to drop back into the body. Good. And then letting the shoulders drop back and down. And just slowing down the breath for a moment. I'm going to count to 4 for your in-breath. 1, 2, 3, 4. Out breath. 1, 2, 3, 4. In breath. 1, 2, 3, 4. Out breath. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then just let the breathing kind of go back to its normal pace. And we're going to start by having you sort of bring up this scenario on social media that causes you some grief or has caused you some grief. And let's make it as real as possible, okay? This is the first part of FACE, F, feel it. So I want you to make it as real as possible. Where are you? What platform are you? You might even sort of imagine where in real space you are as you're sort of taking this in. What's happening? What's upsetting you? How does it feel in your body? And where specifically in your body are you feeling this sensation of pain? Could be your upper stomach, could be the third eye between your brows, could be in your throat, your belly, or your heart, crown of your head. And I'd like for you to allow that sensation, feel it, like really get familiar with it. Is it a burning sensation? Is it aching? Is it numb and hard? And then what I'd like for you to do is to bring your hands to that place in just a really nourishing, nurturing way. Place your hands there. And first of all, in that place of pain, just feeling the warmth and the firmness and the love of the hands. And now we go on to A of FACE, ask. And just with a lot of tenderness and a lot of curiosity for this being that is trying the best they can with what they know. Just ask yourself, ask this pained part of you, buddy, What's going on here? Sweetie, what's happening? What's really coming up for you? What's hurting you? What are you really scared of? And just let that sort of place of pain speak back to you, that vulnerable place. And that vulnerable place may have rage in it, but there's always going to be fear below that rage. What's the fear? And you can let the hands relax if you want, or you can keep them there if that feels good. And we're going to move on to the C of face, compassion, where we determine what the medicine is for this pain. So, knowing now what this place is suffering from, what does it need? Really checking in, wanting to make it better for this place. What does this vulnerable, pained part of yourself most need to heal, to move through this? Maybe it needs to just be held and soothed and rocked. Maybe it needs words of assurance. Like, it's okay, sweetie. You tried your best. We'll do better next time. Or maybe you need more sort of help with this. Maybe you need more resources. Maybe you can tune into the wide open sky and the big, powerful earth beneath you to hold this, to soothe this, to open this up. Or maybe there's a being that represents just this deep, loving compassion for you that can come and put their arms around you. What is the particular form of medicine that would be most compassionate for you right now? What is it? It's the particular flavor. It could be, again, soothing. It could be a sense of humor, freedom. It could be just letting go. It could be playfulness. It could be deep, abiding power. And then the last phase of face is E, evolve. So knowing now what came up for you as the medicine, what is the action or energy that you could embody going forward? Okay? Is there a particular energy that the next time this situation with social media comes up that you could breathe into this particular energy? Or maybe there is an action you need to take around social media, a very specific action that came out of this. And so just seeing and feeling yourself moving through with this next step, this next healthy, honoring, empowering step. See yourself doing it, feel yourself doing it. All right, let's take in a nice big cleansing breath. And on the exhale, let's shake it out. Shake out the head and the shoulders and the chest and the belly and the behind and the face and the lips. And then coming back to eyes open. Nice. So I would love to know what came up for you. What came up for you as your form of medicine? What was the energy that came up that you felt, or was there an action that came up that you feel called to embody going forward as far as social media goes? Put it in the comments. I would love to hear and see what came up there for you. And again, FACE is a tool that you can use in any circumstance. I want you to get used to this tool. It's kind of the catch-all tool. It takes in all sorts of really important bits in the process of healing in a very short, easy to remember sort of tool. Okay, so I want to hear comments, but I'm just going to sort of move on from here and tell you a little bit about next week. Next week's live stream is Humor as a Tool for Change, talking with Denise McLeod. And Denise is part of an Indigenous comedy troupe called Manifest Destiny's Child. And we're going to talk about how powerful comedy and humor can be for change makers, and also ideas on how you could use the tool of humor in your own missions. Okay. So, and whenever I have a guest, folks, it's really important to show up and to support them. You know, they come and they give of their time, and it's so very important that we honor them in that way. And also, before you go, I want to share with you a little bit more about this tool of mine. But let's see how I can do that. Yeah, okay, here we go. I'm going to screen share. Let's see how this works. No, I'm going to do a Chrome tab. Here we go. Okay, so hopefully you can see this. Yes, you can. Great. Okay. So what I want to show you is this Power Tools for Change Makers. It's so easy. At the link that I'm going to put in there, you just go to the link, and you there's a little welcome video and basically you sign up, and you're going to get your first video right away, which is going to be about overwhelm busting tools. Okay, so there I am, overwhelm busting tools. So this is gonna, I think overwhelm is just such a huge part of Changemakers challenges. We are trying to do so much, and we really, need to be able to find ways to, to get more productive and effective in a way that doesn't make us bonkers. Then we have productivity tools. So today, was a lot of productivity tools, and I want to give you more. I want to give you really tangible ways to be able to output in a way that, again, makes your life okay, makes you, not have to be working 70 hours a week, but also it really gets your mission out there in a bigger, more bold way than you ever have before. Then we go into pain processing tools. So as I mentioned, even just on social media, there's a lot of painful stuff that comes up. But in whatever, if you're somebody that's trying to move the needle in the world, you're coming up against resistance. And when there's resistance, there's pain. And you need to have regular ways to be able to process that, or you will eventually burn out. Okay. This is such an important piece, guys. I can't even emphasize how important this is. And I give you really simple and tangible tools, techniques to be able to, and I take you through them in the workshop. So these aren't just like me talking at you. We're doing the work together. Then we have bridge building tools, where again, I help you to find ways to expand your influence, how to dissolve judgment so that you can reach people and build bridges as opposed to war. And then we have self-fuel tools, where I help you to create a daily ritual and daily routine that's going to really light a fire under your butt in a good way. It's going to ground you, and it's going to make you feel more empowered. So I hope that you will, if you haven't already done it, I hope you'll sign up. And I also really would love you to be able to share this with anybody else that you think would benefit from it. Just going over to the comments, Nick said compassion, just plain old compassion is what came up. So to be able to, bring your hand to your heart, Nick, in those moments, and just, say something like, I got you, buddy. I got you. Okay. It's all right. No matter what happens, I'm here. Okay. I've got you. I know you inside and out, and I will never leave you. Okay. And so, yeah, that's a really, when we know we have a safe sanctuary in ourselves, it's amazing what we can weather. Okay, folks, it was so wonderful to have you here. Thank you for participating so beautifully. I will see you on next Thursday for our humor and comedy as a tool for change makers. Okay, take care. Have a wonderful day. Stay cool.